So very few of you have probably stuck around long enough to go through some of this jazz. At present, this is where I'm at, and it cracks me up. In this one in particular, if I'm not mistaken, if you go through the decans, the decans, the decanic order, it begins, typically speaking, with this jazz, and it ends with this jazz. And if I'm not mistaken, that checks out, as strange as it may seem. What's in this little book is far cooler than that could ever be. But I'm still looking for good people, worth their salt, willing to put in the time, think for themselves, work with what I leave online, provide some thoughtful statements, questions, etc., etc. I need to know that you're involved, which means you're invested. And most people have run for the hills, tuned out, and or kicked back on their palms, and they've waited for the next, content, media, the latest thing to digest, and they're too lazy to scroll back. On that note, you should probably reconsider how you and I are being manipulated. When you pop into Instagram, how far down in the chain of events do you go looking for something, or you just wait for the next thing to pop up? This touches on what our masters were talking about doing, having to do with Amazon and other stuff like that, where they predict what you're going to buy and they show you what you're going to buy and then you buy it, which is currently being employed. It's pretty spooky, but the same thing applies to the social engineering platforms. It's what we see. It's what's taking place. I use Instagram regularly enough, so that's what I'm speaking to. Um, You see it when you click on the little discover thing or whatever they call that shit now. Most people don't scroll back. You get a little block of things to look at. You click on one or you don't. You refresh it, but you don't keep scrolling. You don't go looking for things. You see this with Google right now as well. That's why the amount of results have been limited, despite the fact that the internet's been around how long and there's how much shit on the internet. Now you can reach the end of the page. Yeah, I forget how it's worded, but they essentially tell you, would you like to continue? And or it will tell you this is the end of the results available, which is should insult anybody with a brain in their head, but it doesn't, because most people aren't putting in the time, thinking critically, etc., etc., etc. That's being bred out of us. As always, what the fuck do I know? There are things in here I want to teach people, but it's been like pulling teeth. It's been like pulling teeth. Dancing around at some of the stuff I want to show you in here. It touches on one of those videos I left on the internet a long time ago having to do with the bride's chair. It touches on why you've seen the I am. You know, this jazz. It's a 914, the I am. You put the I, the A, and the M in the box, and you end up with the blade and the chalice, crudely speaking. The ether. It's one way to look at it. It's why you got W's and M's on all sorts of shit. It's a 4 and a 5, because the numbers 1 through 9 equal 45. It's a far bigger thought. There's too much I want to show you guys, but I could explain the deeper roots of this to you if I had people, but I don't. I truly don't. That's not even the lemon next to the pie in this little book. That's where I'm at today. I'm frustrated as usual and contemplating showing you guys bits and pieces. But when I do, most people can't be bothered to click like, share the video, consider the information. It doesn't go beyond them sitting through the video once. It's haunting, and it should terrify you, because this is the state of things and it's getting worse.